Good evening. I feel a little inadequate to speak after Ronald Reagan, one of my favorite presidents. Above all, he was a man. I remember that. Last month, I was in Columbus, Georgia at Fort Benning for an Army graduation ceremony. It's my privilege to be there. If you have never been to a military ceremony, I tell you one thing, it is a very patriotic day. Jared and Morgan went with me, and I think Jared told somebody it made him want to join the Army. It is a day that makes you proud as an American. I knew this was going to happen. I had trouble writing it. It makes you proud as an American. You know, pride is not always a bad thing. As I was watching the soldiers march in the parade ground, the columns line by line, rows of formation, they stood before the grandstand. First column, first row. Last man on the left was my son. Could I tell you pride as a father? Not just pride as an American, became personal. I was asked to give a testimony tonight about the military. I have never been in the military, as some of you have, but I have a son that's in the Army. At the family briefing, the day before the graduation, they told us what the soldiers had gone through during the past weeks, what they were allowed to do and what they were not allowed to do while they're spending their time with us. They kept using the phrase, "your soldier." So my testimony tonight is about my son, my soldier, Jake. Jake loves being in the Army. It gives him a sense of purpose, a sense of pride. This was actually his second graduation from basic training. He went the first time a couple years ago and served in the Army Reserves, but his heart was to be full-time. And the only way that he could do that was to do what was called reclassify. He had to reclassify, you had to change positions as to what you're trained for. So he had to go back to basic training all over again. This basic training, this type of training, was a more extensive type of training. It lasted 12 weeks. But since he had prior training service, he was supposed to start about halfway through, about week 6. Instead, he was put in at day 10. So he started basically all over again. After basic training, and that's what he graduated from, the basic training. So then after basic training, they go to what's called AIT, or Advanced Individual Training. The military has all these abbreviations for everything. Right, Jared? You guys talk to me in military terms. What are you talking about? So they had Advanced Individual Training, and it was Jake's desire that he wanted to be part of the Airborne Division to try to help overcome his fears. He wanted to face his fears heights, and he wanted to join the Airborne Division. And I asked you to pray about it. I was surprised that he really wanted to do this, because even as a boy, he was afraid to fly. He's always been afraid of heights. They were supposed to work him into the program, get him used to different things. On day 2 of the training, they brought him up to a 30-foot tower and told him to jump. Jake hesitated. He couldn't make the jump, and he was disqualified from the Airborne. He was very disappointed, felt like he had let down his family. Could I tell you what I told him? I said, Jake, you are my son. I love you. You are an American soldier. I am proud of you. You joined the Army during a time of war. You represent the Visscher family in the military. Hold your head up high and wear the uniform with pride. I don't care how you get there. When you're there, you do the job that you're trained to do. I'm praying for you. Now Jake is stationed at Fort Drum in New York with the 10th Mountain Division. It's kind of funny. Seems like he can't get away from heights. His unit is scheduled to be deployed to Afghanistan in September. I don't know yet if Jake will be going with them, since he's just arrived for training there. But I would ask all of you that you remember him in your prayers. Jake is from Michigan. He is from Ludington. He is our soldier. Thank you.